Słuchasz podcastu Angielski z Konradem. Nowe odcinki każdego tygodnia. Jeśli chcesz popracować nad płynnością, nabrać odwagi do konwersacji, skorygować często popełniane błędy bądź poznać skuteczne metody nauki, ta audycja jest dla Ciebie. Remember, you're not at school, so chill out, kick back and enjoy yourself. Let's begin. Greetings! Welcome to another episode of your favorite English podcast. I'm your humble host, Conrad. I hope you will love the show today. Thank you for all your generous donations through my buycoffee.to account. Let's move on to the vocabulary for this episode. Cowardice. Cowardice. Tchórzostwo. Faint-hearted. Faint-hearted. Bojaźliwy. Daring. Daring. Śmiały, brawurowy. Endure. Endure. Znieść, wytrzymać. Meet something head on. Meet something head on. Stawić czemuś czoła. Why do people invent life-threatening pastimes? We know that falling from a great height will result in death. Still, people of all ages go parachuting, base jumping, bungee jumping, and so on. We swim with sharks in small metal cages. We've got reliable, comfortable, and quick means of transport. Still, some people choose to take a canoe through rapids or to cycle to China by themselves for their holidays. Why is that? The short answer is the adrenaline rush. The prospect of dying while doing something dangerous makes us feel alive. I'm not satisfied with that answer, though. No exceptions. Everyone is afraid of something. It's great. It keeps us alive, our limbs attached to our bodies, and our bottoms shark bite free. Fear is our basic instinct, something all mammals share. The thing is, unlike other mammals, we don't have to fight for our lives on an everyday basis anymore. The more fortunate of us, at least. We don't have to fend off beasts or foes of any kind. We live in times of relative peace, but some would say that we became too accustomed to it. Perhaps that's why people take up risky hobbies, to keep them on edge. Maybe it's the comfort provided by our freedom that's making us pay good money for an opportunity to have a near-death experience. We don't have to take such risks, but we can choose to. According to the article I found on psychologytoday.com, the link is in your podcast notes, another compelling reason is that we take such symbolic risk in order to better ourselves in some way. What is a symbolic risk, though? Let me tell you in my own words. A symbolic risk is an activity unrelated to your personal or professional life. As the word risk implies, you may lose something as a result. Activities mentioned earlier are good examples. Not only are they dangerous, they're also potentially crippling, meaning that you may turn out disabled if something goes wrong, or even lethal, meaning that you may die as a result of doing it. In case of the article's author, it was rafting. Think of a symbolic risk as a challenge. It doesn't have to involve danger, though. It may also mean that you muster the courage to stand up for yourself and others, or to talk to that one person you find yourself attracted to. After all, nobody fell in love without being a little brave. In such social situations, you also might lose something. Your sense of dignity, for example. What's the benefit of taking a symbolic risk? In short, it gives you courage to deal with other issues with more confidence. You achieve a sense of fearlessness. You feel that something that used to be difficult or impossible due to the fear factor becomes less scary. If it doesn't scare you as much, it means that it becomes manageable. The world becomes your oyster, so to speak. So when you practice bravery through an activity where such an attitude is essential to succeed, you will become braver in other situations, outside of that one situation when you need to be brave. After all, you have survived a parachute jump, a very risky endeavor. How could it be worse from speaking your mind in social situations, or being honest about your feelings, or standing up for yourself, or even speaking a foreign language? One thing to remember is that symbolic risk has to be completely voluntary, meaning you cannot be forced into taking it. It will violently backfire if you do so. My fiancée, Carolina, became traumatized when she was pressured into scuba diving by the diving instructor herself. "Stop crying, you're overreacting," she said. To this day, she tells me that this was one of the worst experiences of her life. So it has to be your own confident decision. The push has to come from within. I'd like to finish this episode with a quote from Frank Herbert, the author of Dune. It's about fear, something we can overcome only by taking risk, be it symbolic or not. Let's read into it more, sentence after sentence. Fear is the mind killer. Whenever you give in to your fear, you don't think. Your brain shuts down and turns survival mode on. It kills your reason and makes you act irrationally. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. Fear doesn't kill you in a literal sense. When you give in to fear, you irreversibly lose a part of yourself. It may be your pride or your dignity. That is a small death in itself. Obliteration means removal, deletion. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. To face means to confront. When you permit something, you agree to it, in other words. You say yes to something. In case of these two sentences, you welcome your fear. You embrace it. You don't struggle against it. You are calm and collected when confronting your fear. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. Working through your fear makes it disappear. The fear leaves nothing behind. You have overcome it, so it no longer exists. Remember, to be brave does not mean to take unnecessary risk or to behave in a reckless fashion. It means to act despite fear. Thank you for listening. Alright, it's time for the vocabulary revision. I will provide you with some example sentences to illustrate each word. You will find those sentences along with their translations at the very end of your podcast notes. You will hear each sentence twice. Let's begin. Cowardice. Cowardice. Tchórzostwo. Bullies prey on cowardice of bystanders. Bullies prey on cowardice of bystanders. Faint-hearted. Faint-hearted. Bojaźliwy. Sahara Desert Survival Camp is not for the faint-hearted. Sahara Desert Survival Camp is not for the faint-hearted. Daring. daring. Śmiały, brawurowy. Motorcycle riders are considered to be daring individuals. Motorcycle riders are considered to be daring individuals. Endure. Endure. Znosić, wytrzymywać. If you endure momentary hardships now, you shall reap the rewards in the future. If you endure momentary hardships now, you shall reap the rewards in the future. Meet something head on. Meet something head on. Stawić czemuś czoła. Instead of complaining about how he looked, Gary decided to meet his excess weight head on and hit the gym. Instead of complaining about how he looked, Gary decided to meet his excess weight head on and hit the gym. Instead of complaining about how he looked, Gary decided to meet his excess weight head on and hit the gym. Alright, that's it for today's episode. Be sure to follow me on Spotify. It really helps me reach more people with my content. If you value the podcast as an educational resource, consider making a small donation through my buycoffee.to account. The link is in the podcast description. Every little bit helps. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you next time.